He never shut up since we came in here today. There was a group of students in Adamstown Vocational College and they decided to do a survey on longevity. What makes people live a long time? So they went up to the local old folks' home and picked out 3 fellas that they thought were suitable candidates. And they went up to the first fellow and they asked him, what's the secret of your longevity? Why have you lived so long? The man said, whiskey. I have a glass of whiskey in the morning, in the middle of the day, and a glass of whiskey going to bed every night. And what age are you? I'm 91, he said. Went up to the next fellow. What's your story? Mate, he said. I have mates with breakfast, dinner and supper. And what age are you? I'm 94, he said. Went up to the next fellow, and this fellow was kind of down on one side, and he was dribbling out of the mouth, and his head was shaking. And what's your story? Women, he said, women. Morning, noon and night. And what age are you? I'm 45. This is a story about a farmer. And this fellow is 70 odd years of age, and he's lived a very sheltered life. He's lived down in the Madja Bay or someplace like that. He never went very far. But anyhow, he's married to this enormous big woman, and she's about that big, I suppose. And she decides she wants a holiday. A holiday in the sun, mind you, no less than a holiday in the sun. And that's the name of the story. Myself and herself were chatting, 20 years ago or more, about the good times that we had and what the future held in store. She said, now Pat, don't get me wrong, but of all the things we've done, one thing my heart is yearning for is a holiday in the sun. For lately I've been dreaming I'm on this big jet plane, and we're landed in a country where there's no such thing as rain. I'm lying on a sandy beach with a good book in my hand, and I'm wearing my bikini, and my skin's a golden tan. I said, now Matt, that's just a dream. Would you have a bit of wit? Unless the bikini was like a parachute, you know it wouldn't fit. I've no time for airplanes whisked across the sky. God would if it was at wings if he wanted us to fly. So settle down now, woman, and put more turf on the fire. We're simple country people. We've all that we desire. Well, with that she started barging about how good she was to me, and the way she slaved around the place, of course, I had to agree. She left me feeling guilty. By God, she talked me round. So next morning, bright and early, me and her, we hit the town. Straight to the travel agent's magic promptly go. I had given my commitment, I couldn't tell her no. And in less than 20 minutes, with a twinkle in her eye, she shouts, we're for Majorca, the first week in July. She was all excited, I cannot wait. And now we have to get some sun oil to protect us from the heat. Well, I followed her around the town till my 2 feet were sore. The sun oil we bought in gallons to take it all to cover her. And the weeks went by so quickly and the time was drawing near. 2 days before we were due to fly, I got the diarrhea. Man sent me for a bottle till he came shop, and in the end a ticking, and then thank God it stopped. Sure, I was feeling rightly till me 2 feet hit the plane, and the toilet seat was where I sat till we touched down in Spain. Now I could hear the pilot wishing all a pleasant flight, and me gloomy surroundings trying hard not to, well, I wasn't feeling like. Boy, the heat was horrid on that foreign side, and my backside was like a kettle that was coming to the boil. And the sweat dripped from my nose and magic but a curse as we were took to our apartment in an air-conditioned bus. Thank God we were driving in the middle of the night, for that fella was fully bent on driving on the right. He didn't know his highway code, and that's one thing for sure. If he drove like that around home, he'd be called one stupid idiot. Our apartment, it was lovely, that I have to say. And Madge, she took to singing as she put her clothes away. Then she came to me and whispered, this could be our second honeymoon. Well, with that, the cramps to start it up, I said, where's that bottle and that spoon? I toed and froed all night long from the toilet to the bed. And as I gazed on Madge's swimsuit, queer thoughts went through my head. It was spread out on the table like a blanket on a ditch. And the one that made it, I hope, knows how to stitch. I was still lying waking when the sun rose in the sky. Then suddenly, from down below, I could hear this joyful cry. Now, I wasn't sure, but I thought I could hear the sound of water splash. So over to the balcony, quickly I did dash. Well, all the sights I seen I'll not forget from that balcony. Took 50 years off my life. I felt like 23. A swimming pool, half full of girls, naked to the waist. The blood was coursing through me veins. I felt like a tormented beast. I took one look at the wife who was lying fast asleep. My thoughts were far from Ireland, or my cattle, or my sheep. I shaved myself in record time and combed my bit of hair and put on that new swimming trunks I swore I'd never wear. Now I might be easy going, but in ways I'm not a fool. And inside the next 2 minutes I was sitting by that pool. As I gazed at all them bosoms, oh, it was a pretty sight. All colours and creations, and me a snowy white. There was big ones, and there was wee ones. Some did sway while others plop. I was always told not to stare, but somehow I couldn't stop. God, I said, this is heaven, and I didn't have to die. And I thought it might be a sin, so I only catch one eye. But then I got chatting to this lassie with her hair up in a bun, and she said, would you like to join us and have a bit of fun? Well, I said, I'd love to, but I can't swim a stroke. She, that's no problem. And she put me on this rubber yoke. And she pulled and pulled me around the pool, and I kicked and splashed away. And I thought that if my farm was over here, I'd never lose a bale of hay. And suddenly, a shadow was blocking out the sun. It was Madge, and she was scowling at this lassie with the bun. Now, I was all embarrassed by my wife's roars and bawls, and the next thing she was in the pool, coming at me like jaws. Now the water had risen a fair few inches in the pool, and then she had me by the throat calling me a bloody fool. She took me tightly by the hand and back into the room, and the remainder of the holiday, it was doom and gloom. She sat in the corner reading a bloody book, while I sat on the balcony with orders not to look. Her eyes were piercing through me like a gun into my neck. I could hear the lassies down below. Boys, they were having crack. But soon we're back in Ireland, and I'm doing the things I always do. But my mind often wanders back to that land with skies so blue. Especially in the evening when I'm milking me old cow. I'll be thinking of them bosoms and wondering what they're doing now. I dare not mention holidays in case I might get throttled. Madge has got herself a golden brown from this stuff bought in a bottle.